Welcome to MyLITV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. Get ready, MyLITV starts now.
The Mighty Hamptons Triathlon is the oldest running triathlon in the Northeast. This race is 31 years old, has huge history in the sport of triathlon. A lot of our past winners like Dave Scott, Scott Tinley, Karen Smyers, these are like legends of the sport. They're like part of the birth of the sport basically, and they raced here back in the 80s. What really made this survive was the fact that the founder of EventPower, Steve Tarpinian, actually started EventPower to save this race. This race was going to disappear, and he had been racing this race and he was just like passionate about it and he didn't want to see it go. So he stepped up and took over the race, and here we are.
All right, silver caps, move on out.
As a swim coach, I was one of the sponsors and I had my clinics and camps sponsored. And when I went to the hospital who owned the race, there was a second owners, they said they weren't going to run it anymore. And I said, why? It's such a great race. Dave Scott won the first race. It's like, this is amazing. You can't let this race. He said, well, we really aren't used to doing events, and it's not working out for us. Do you want to help? And it was pretty easy to kind of slowly bring it back up just by bringing the excitement that had been started with it. One of the greatest things about this event is the location. The course rolls through the Hamptons, past some of the most beautiful homes and then farms. It's rolling, and then the run course is flat and fast. It's just a beautiful course. This is known as the International or Olympic distance, where you've got a 1,500 meter swim, just under a mile, 40K bike, about 24 miles, then a 10K run. It's a challenge, but it's not like the Ironman where you're out there for 10 hours. Most people finish between 2.5 and 3 hours.
The water's beautiful here. It's a great bay. The bike course is a very challenging bike course. The first half of the bike course opens up very hilly, rolling, technical. I mean, you actually need some bikes handling skills here to really excel at this course. Runs out and you're doing your 10K run, so it's a beautiful run course as well.
Looks like he's going to do it. Last year, he was 42nd off the world record. This state record has stood since 2003. Way to go, Bob. Breaking it by 1 minute.
Well, I mean, last year, I didn't really know what the record was, and I felt pretty good, but I wasn't really sure. And this year, Reuben came up to me last year, he was like, you just missed it, and I was like, oh man. So I knew I had to come back. But it's an old record, almost 10 years old. I'm really, really happy I could do it, I grew up in Jersey. I lived in Babylon for a few years. I went to Adelphi. I've been on the island, but I don't have really much experience at all out here. And it's beautiful, and they did such a great job putting on this race. Definitely like to thank Specialized too, best bike company out there, the only bikes I'll ride.
Across the second place.
The rain made it a bit hard. You really had to slow down on the turns and be extra cautious. Slowing down a couple of seconds on the turn rather than falling and taking a spill is definitely the way to go. Don't want to risk that. But again, you don't want to lose too much momentum coming around those turns. But yeah, it was good.
This is Ken Corigliano. He's from the Air Force, and he just came back from the World Military Games?
Yeah, World Military Triathlon Championships in Lausanne, Switzerland.
He's kind of modest, but how many tours have you done overseas in Iraq?
Well, I have 600 days deployed. So I've done 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, right after September 11.
He's Gary Jetson, and he's our female winner. Katie Bottini, well done, Katie.
I was really happy that I was able to come today, and I think I did this race 2 years ago and I finished second. Had a little wetsuit mishap, got stuck, so I was out. I had to get back. Revenge.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
25, so you weren't even here when the first running of this race. How does it feel to be a little part of history?
I think it's awesome,
and it's only like 35 years old.
I hope to keep going for another 30 years.
Well, I was supposed to do the Atlantic City Championships, and it was canceled about 2 weeks before the race. So the race director said they're having a big race out in the Hamptons, And I actually at that time had to lick a stamp and mail in my application and started the race back in '82. And once I started to get a couple of them going, I said it'd be nice to be able to come back and do the 6th one and the 10th one and the 15th and the 20. And here I still am, you know. Well, the initial year, 1982, they actually flew in the best triathletes from the West Coast. And it was almost like the West Coast, East Coast championships. And the first year, Dave Scott happened to have won the race. I didn't know who he was at the time and congratulated him on the beach after the race because he like ripped the course apart. He was like so much faster than anyone else. But there's been some really phenomenal athletes that have competed here, and it's been a pleasure competing with them, even though I'm not their caliber.